This is a tutorial to show you how to layer two photos on top of each other in double exposure. For this I've chosen a photo that has a man's portrait, and I'm going to layer that with a forest background. My first step is to select the man's head. If you have a woman, sometimes the hair is a little bit difficult to select, so you'll need to take a little bit of extra time on carefully going around the face. You can zoom in if you need to be a little more accurate. Once I have his face perfectly selected, I'm going to apply a layer mask. By going down below my layers, I'll find a white rectangle with a black circle in it, and when I click that, I have a mask over everything except for my person. I'm then going to apply a solid color fill layer underneath my person. So for that I go down underneath the layers where the circle is cut in half, black and white. I click and hold, and I go to solid color and release. I can pick a solid color. I'm going to pick white and hit OK. All I see is white now because it's on top of the person, so I'm going to click and drag it below the person to bring him to the front. Now what I want to do is pull my second picture in, and I'm going to select the Move tool. I'm going to click, drag up, hover over the tab, drag down, and then let go. And now I have a layer with my other image on it. I'm going to bring that layer to the top so it overlays everything, and then select from this drop down category that usually says normal. I'm going to select screen, and what that does is it puts my second picture only on top of my person's face. I can drag it around to find the best kind of composition for my person. Maybe I'll put it right there. And now what I can do is I can play with the intensity of that second image. I could go up to adjustments and work with brightness and contrast. Maybe I want it a little bit darker. Maybe I want the contrast up a little bit. It's up to you on how bright and how dark my second image is. I could make it grayscale by going up to Image, Adjustments, Black and White. And what that's going to do is it's going to just change whatever layer I have selected in black and white. So you'll notice that my portrait is still in color. So if I wanted him black and white as well, I would select that layer, go Adjustments, Black and White, and now they are both black and white. So in that way I can kind of toggle back and forth and choose what kind of color I want for my double exposure. If I want a few of my face features to pop out a little bit more and darken a little bit more, what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase from my landscape layer. So I have my landscape selected. I'm going to choose my eraser tool. I'm going to make the hardness at 0% so it's very, very soft. I'm going to change the opacity down to maybe, I'll start with like 25%. That means it's not erasing everything, just a little bit. And I'm just going to test that by clicking on the face features that I want to stick out. And I don't want a harsh line around anything, but as you can see, the eye, nose, and mouth are really standing out a little bit more. I'm going to use it on the front of his shirt. So I'm darkening the bottom edge by erasing that background. I could put a little into his hair. It's up to you on how you want that to look. Once I'm really happy with how it looks inside my person's portrait, I'm going to go ahead and flatten this image so I can then kind of play with the background. So I'm going to right click on a layer and say flatten image. And what that's going to allow me to do is now I can select just the background. And I can put a variety of different effects on this. I could do a gradient effect. So I'm going to choose a black. Since it's black and white, I'm just going to see how this might look. I have black and white, and then I'll click and I'll drag the gradient and see if that gives it a nice background tone. I think I might like something like that. Or you could do the paint bucket tool if I wanted just one solid color. It's a little bit harder now that I have a gradient, but you should be able to just click and select there. So you can choose any background that really suits your double exposure. I'm going to deselect my background, see how it looks. I could go ahead and crop it if I wanted a different proportion. To me, this is a lot of background. Once you've thoughtfully selected your background and cropped, reevaluate so that you are sure you don't want to change anything else, and then you can go ahead and save it as a JPEG.